Hello, it's me. I'm here to help you review for your essay questions. Ready? Here we go. Here's essay question number 1. All right. In the past 25 years, people have seen enormous technological leaps, yet issues of development and ethnic conflicts continue to create disparities between people. Using material from the spring term, assert a reason for these continued disparities and explore it with evidence. Okay, so there are some key words in here. First of all, we all know that disparity basically means differences, right? All right, we've got development, which we just finished up, and then ethnic conflicts. And really, all I'm looking for you to use here is stuff from the Arab-Israeli conflict. Okay? Big disclaimer, if you want to pull in things from the other ethnic conflicts, the case studies that we did about Rwanda or Bosnia and Serbia, all that, you can, but you're not required to, okay? Because this is really all we looked at from the spring term. Okay, so the question is asking you, since we have a flattened world, why do development issues and ethnic conflicts continue to create disparities, right? Because the idea is that in a flattened world, everything should be even. All things should be the same. Yet, these two things seem to keep people from being equal, okay? So I would say those are your key words, right? And the question is really asking you to assert a reason, right, for the continued differences between people, okay? So those are your key words. Check. Now, I'm going to put it into my own words, but I think it would be good for you to put this into your own words as well, just so you can practice it, okay? So when I read this, I kind of think this question is asking me to say, all right, we live in a flattened world, but people still aren't the same. They don't have the same opportunities. And why is it that development issues and ethnic conflicts, especially the Arab-Israeli conflict, continue to divide people? Okay? Got it. I understand it. It's in my head. I got it. Now, the next thing is to list evidence, right? So let's stand back and think about development issues and how they create a divide between people. And in some of the things that we looked at, you can look at your own country and your development project, if you want to use that, your project. But also think larger. So remember what we talked about with the idea of how hard it is for some nations to develop? Okay, you could also think about the World Bank and the loans that they loan. Remember how we looked at Jamaica and the milk example? How the World Bank loan basically has made it impossible for Jamaica to move forward because they have this enormous loan to pay back, okay? So that's the World Bank with the Jamaica example. You could also look at the fair trade example, right? Fair trade. That might work as well. And you might want to just look at the advantage that the U.S. has had because we've been able to move through those Rothschild model, and we've been able to sort of move through that model pretty quickly because of natural resources and a little bit of luck, right? But another country with very few resources has had a hard time because they haven't had the advantages that we've had. Okay, so right, okay, so then, just checking my notes, then I want you to also think about ethnic conflicts, especially the Arab-Israeli conflict, okay? So you could look at foreign intervention and how foreign intervention has made it hard for the conflict to sort of resolve itself, and that's created these disparities, right? You can look at the demographics and the differences between Palestinians and Israelis, right? You could look at the way that they're living. You could use your examples. You could use your essays that you wrote, right? You wrote papers about water, settlements, the wall. All of these things create divides between these people that prevent equality within the country, right? So there really cannot be a flattened Israel until this conflict is resolved. Okay, so now step back and try to think about why, after looking at all of this, thinking about it, and you can add more to this if you've got more, go back through your notes and look at what might work and what might be good evidence in here, okay? Stand back, say, why do disparities between people still exist if the world is flat, right? And so maybe you can write a thesis. Maybe your thesis is about foreign intervention, okay? How foreign intervention really prevents a flattened world and that nations just need to be left alone, right? Maybe you could write a thesis about rich and poor and how the class divides really prevent a true flattened world. And that in a flattened world, we're not really all the same anyway. It's all about who has access to opportunities and technology and wealth and who doesn't, right? So you're going to think about how these two aspects of our modern world really prevent a true, even, flattened world. Okay? So then you're going to plan out your essay, right? So you'll have your intro and thesis. Okay? And then start thinking about how you want to craft your essay. All right? It could be a 4-paragraph essay, a really good 4-paragraph. It could be a 5-paragraph essay, or it could be a 6-paragraph essay. Right? So here you might want to spend a paragraph talking about development. Right? You might want to spend a paragraph talking about ethnic conflicts. And then in this example, you probably would just need 4 really good paragraphs, okay? But make sure you're pulling in specific evidence and make sure you're really crafting a strong thesis first so that this essay has a direction. And always make sure you're answering